Welcome to The Forum, your modern-day coffee house, where ideas can be birthed, exchanged, and wrestled with. We celebrate questions, conversation, and reason as powerful tools to enlighten hearts and transform minds, shaping a new generation of thinkers, innovators, and pioneers. We're glad you're here, so pull up a chair and let's begin.
Let them theory is based on a simple truth. The fastest way to take control of your life is to stop controlling everyone around you. You have no idea how much time and energy and attention you are wasting trying to control other people. You have no idea how much energy you are burning through thinking about, worrying about, obsessing about what other people are doing, what they're not doing, what they're feeling, all of which you have zero control over. It's really not about other people. See, energetically, you're hooking yourself into other people because you have an opinion about what they should or shouldn't be doing. And that opinion is usually driven by your insecurity, or it's driven by your controlling nature, or it's driven by your anxiety, or it's driven by whatever it is that you may have. But once you get your energetic hook into somebody else, you've now just lost control. And when you say let them, you're acknowledging the situation and you're almost saying, I'm above it and I'm permitting this because I see it happening. And then something really interesting happens because you're no longer all worked up about what they're doing. You are forced to look back at yourself. Let them.
Good morning. So this morning I'm going to introduce you to the let them theory. If you haven't heard about it already, it's taking the internet by storm at the moment. It's been making a profound impact on those who have adopted it. And Mel Robbins, who was the lady in the clip, the founder of the theory, it's just everywhere, this thing, taking social media by storm. And she's fast becoming one of the leading podcasters. And even Oprah hailed this book as one of the best self-help books she has ever read, and classes it as one of the greats of our time. I mean, that's pretty big coming from her, amount of stuff she's done over the years. So with that in mind, I wanted to explore some of the thoughts behind the theory. And I bought the book, and I read it. Didn't just buy it, I read it. And I've actually spent the last couple of months reading through it and trying it out in my own life to see what I thought about it in order to kind of share with you what I've been learning. And just for disclaimer, everything I'm saying this morning is all Mel's ideas and theories. It's all come from her book and her sort of ideas. And she's not a trained psychologist, professional expert in any way. She's an everyday person who's dealt with the same stuff we all deal with, everyday things with families, relationships, work. She found herself on rock bottom once with her husband's business going under. She was 41, about to lose the house, on the brink of divorce. She's been through it. She's been through the mill and knows her stuff. And within the book, she's been working with, if this matters to you, she's been working with all sorts of doctors, experts, scientists, researchers to kind of create this book based on her life experiences. And the book is very much kind of an autobiography, really, of how that's impacted her now in her later years. She's now 52, and she said it's absolutely revolutionized how she's living. And what's great about her is she's really relatable as well. Like I've got a bit of a girl crush on her, I won't lie. I love listening to her. She's got a great, easy approach, and I really like that. And last week, Joel shared with us, there's a stool behind me, I wondered what that was. I'm going to fall over that. Joel shared with us about the art of thinking. And he presented to us how philosophies work, like ancient philosophies and spiritual teachings and all that stuff, and how that is relevant to our everyday life now. And it's not just a historical thing. And what I particularly love about the let them theory is that is very much the case here. It's drawing on centuries of ancient wisdom, but compiling it in a very easy to follow day-to-day expression that we can all take hold of about philosophies and spiritual teachings such as Stoicism, It's very much about Stoicism, Buddhism, radical acceptance, detachment theory, and in our understanding and our history, it's about surrender, about surrendering to a higher power, a higher way of thinking, a higher state of consciousness. And Mel has taken these ideas and helped make it relatable in 2025 living, how to manage stress, how to manage friendships, relationships, family issues, anger management, emotional regulation, self-belief, self-empowerment, managing boundaries, having great self-awareness and compassion, and a much deeper understanding on how to love, all through 2 simple words: let them. And this theory, if applied, has the potential to really help you. It's a great tool. So let's set the scene. Stress. Stress. Stress has sadly become such a normal part of modern day living. Our culture has meant that we are carrying stress almost like it's part of who we are now. The morning rush out the door, the brutal alarm call, the busy traffic on the roads, work stress, deadlines, hybrid working. One day you're at home, the next you're in London, the next you're in the office. You started a new project, there's no more 9 to 5, you've got 24-hour access to emails. We've got WhatsApp streams, how many WhatsApp chats? Home life, you've got your schedules, your kids to manage, the TV overload of what to watch on Netflix, bills to pay, washing to do, the washing. Trying to build a social life, maintain family meetups, carrying the weight of expectations. And then there's the inconveniences. The inconveniences that can have a massive impact on your day. That person sat in your train seat, running late for work, road rage, someone cutting you up, someone in your parking space. Parking is all I think about at the moment. Unsolicited advice, that annoying co-worker, the extra, can you just do this? The cold caller, the flight delay, the cancelled train, the rude person, no fuel in the car when you're late for work already, or when the red light comes on in the car. But even these relatively minor things can really impact your mood and your day. That surge of angry energy that impacts you. And it's actually the same stress response with the small stuff as with all the big stuff. Your body goes into fight or flight. The same chemical release comes from those emotions, such as anxiety, prolonged anger, fear. They affect your well-being, both mentally and physically. Rage texting, endless moaning and ranting, manipulative nagging, undermining. A dark cloud can sit above you, and it can really affect you when this little niggly stuff doesn't get dealt with. Then there's the harder things that constantly play this background role. An overbearing parent, a distant parent, a difficult in-law, a sick partner, elderly parents, young kids, moody teens, friendship issues, a partner who just isn't making you feel good anymore. This stuff can have a huge impact on how you feel and how you react. The list is actually endless, and our stress response kicks in, and we either fight it, we flee it, or we freeze. Procrastination is a big one for me. One of my stress responses is just to go, whoa. All in an attempt to manage, protect, and regain our control. When you feel you've lost control, the first thing you will do is try and get it back. And we look to regain that control for our blind panic and reactiveness, falling into people-pleasing, always saying yes when we want to say no, working those extra few hours. We can withdraw. We can run around trying to help everyone. Overload, burnout, regret, and the 4 a.m. stare. You know, when you wake up in the middle of the night and it's just all you can think about. That's the mental load, the daily struggle, the weekly slog, or simply, it's life. And even for those who seem to have it all together, they will still struggle with certain areas. It happens to us all. But there's hope. In the words of Epictetus, it's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters. I've just realised I haven't got my clicker. Can you put it onto the next slide, please? Thank you. Letting this stuff consume you is such a massive waste of your energy and time. It's literally draining you and leaving you left with little or no time and energy for yourself, your dreams, your happiness, your boundaries, all because we are focusing our energy outwards and letting external circumstances and people shape us. Mel Robbins' solution? Let them. Let them think bad of you. Let them cut you up. Let them take your seat if they won't move. Let them be late. Let them get you wrong. Let them get the promotion you wanted. Let them not do what you want them to do. That's more in adult relationships. With kids, it hits differently. Let them not invite you. Let them have a nicer house. Let them know their own pain. Let them feel hurt. Let them. Thank you. Let the car be broken, the trip be cancelled, the in-law have their opinion. Let them roll their eyes, let them judge, let them react, and let them doubt you. Let them. And why? Because there is nothing you can do to stop that from happening anyway. Life happens, stuff happens, people have opinions, people do what they want, and spending your one wild and precious life reacting to it all that's going to do is rob you of everything it has to offer you. The simple truth here, when you say let them in any of the scenarios I have listed, you find it starts to hit differently. Simply saying let them stops the spiral. It captures the moment. It gives you that momentary pause, that micro decision you need to stop the stress, to stop your emotions from taking over, and to stop the spiral into rage or panic. It stops you derailing yourself and from taking over. And for that brief second, it takes the power back from everything being out there and everyone around you back to you. The control immediately feels more in reach if you've not lost it to someone or something else. You reclaim that energy for you, and you then meet that moment in a very different way. And from personal experience in trying this, I can say there's actually a lot of truth in that. The moment I felt myself really feeling something in a reactionary response to something happening around me, I stopped and I was like, let them. I let them be mad. I let them be wrong. I let them feel disappointed. I let them not turn up, not include me, not get me. I don't have to carry their emotional response to me. I don't have to carry the weight of other people's expectations or other people's projections. It wasn't easy, and it does take some work to pull back a little, but it did help me reframe the moments and take my thoughts captive. And what I found was in that moment, I felt a sense of power and a calm. I just immediately felt that and I paused. I reclaimed that moment of potential spiral by relaxing into letting them and not worrying about the outcome so much. And the power dynamic shifted. I had the energy to consider, to reflect, take a minute, pause, decide. It stopped the little things becoming the big stresses of the day, trivial nonsense, not dictating my mood, draining my motivation, and stopping my focus. I let them. So I'm just going to leave it there for a sec, because there's more. There's a part two, don't worry, there's part two. But I'm really interested to know what people think initially of that first part of the let them theory, let them. So we're just going to take a few minutes to have some conversation around the table. And I've got some questions if you need them, or you can just talk about what I've just said. So what are your initial thoughts? Which one is it? That one? There we go. What are your initial thoughts about the let them theory? Can you think of examples from just this past week where this may have been helpful to you to just say let them? And how do you feel you manage your stress and all that stuff we've talked about? How do you feel like you cope with that now? And then we'll come back and I'll give you the next bit. Right, I'm just going to wrap that talk up there. There will be hopefully more time at the end because I like to chat. And we're just going to go on to part 2 before we get too far into the morning.
If you're exhausted, if you're constantly overwhelmed, if you're not achieving your goals, you're not the problem. The problem is the power you give to everybody else.
Yeah.
The power you give to their thoughts, to their actions, to their moods, to their expectations. Every time you allow somebody else's behavior to impact you, or you allow their emotions to bother you, or you allow their opinions or the fear of their opinions to stop you, or you make it your job to make people happy, you are giving power to other people. There's a different way to live.
Yeah.
And the different way to live is to just let them have their thoughts, let them have their opinions, let them have their business and their success and their brand new kitchens, let them have their disappointments and their expectations, let them. I got to focus on me. Let me remind myself that I got power here because I can always control what I think, what I do, and how I process my emotions. And that's how I take responsibility for my life.
Right, so interesting chats, I hope. And if any of you are like me, hearing let them kind of can feel that, well, people are just being let off the hook. You know, does it take away all the accountability from others? And Mel was saying as a type 2, it makes you feel like you've abandoned someone, that you're just letting them, you're not helping them. Does that mean people can do and say and be what they want if you just let them? Yeah, it does, technically. But also, there's something else, definitely no as well. If you just sit in let them, there is a risk that not changing, there is a risk of things not changing. If you just stop at let them, you know, whilst that's good at capturing the moment, if you just sit there, there can be a risk of this not working for you, so you have to take it to the next step. You can get a bit of a superiority complex sometimes. Oh, I'm just going to let them. Or let them and I'll rise above it and be the better person. And that superiority can stop the spiral for that minute. But if you simply leave it with let them, you run the risk of finding yourself without friends, without social plans, without the promotion, and then confused as to why this thing isn't working. You can also be at risk of allowing a cycle of abuse to continue. I'll just let them treat me that way, talk down to me, ignore my feelings, not consider their actions. Let them in these instances is a little different because you're not letting them off the hook when you say let them, but you're naming it for yourself and seeing it for what it is. And you're trying to break the cycle. But you can't stop at let them. It's initially great as it gets the pause, takes the breath before you go into what's required next. And here's where the real work kicks in. Let me. Let me transfers the power from there onto you. The control urge you have to manipulate a situation or to fix it, it stops and the focus shifts back on you. Let me not react. Let me not reach for my phone and definitely not text anyone. Let me not avoid the hard conversations. Let me let go. Let me take time to respond. Let me think about this. Let me not be spoken down to. And FYI, there is no conversation, no table, no dinner, event, or situation that you can't walk away from. Let me leave. Let me speak up. Let me see it. Remember, you can't control what others do or what happens to you. But you certainly can control how you respond to that and how you act next. Let me transfers the energy back to you. And one of the biggest takeaways of this theory is, there we go. You will never be able to control what is happening around you. You will also never be able to control your emotional responses because they're just automatic sometimes, this stress response. Just like your stress response. But you can always choose what you think, say, or do in response to other people, the world around you, or the emotions rising inside of you. That is the source of your power. There is, in fact, so much you can control. Your attitude, your behavior, your values, your needs, your desires. Already got this thing pointing. Oh, that just vibrated. Your next move. What you want to do to respond to what happened. And this makes it much more of an example of self-awareness and empowerment, because it gives you the agency. It gives you better control and responsibility, which, when you break it down, is the ability to respond. You control your next move. No matter how big the problem is or how stressful it feels, there's always something you can do through your actions and your attitude to make it better. So let's apply this theory then to some practical examples. And this is where I find it tricky. I can't fit a whole book into this morning. I'd love to. There's so much that is covered in this book. But I'm just going to draw from a couple of things that she focuses on. And I've done a slide. Okay, overcoming chronic comparison. So in the book, Mel talks about an interior designer friend she's got who keeps saying, I need to do more on my social media page. I need to be promoting myself more. I need to be updating my website. The conversation's usually around that. And then she rings her one day. She's fuming because someone she knows, a kind of friend, has set up a social media account in interior design, and it looks amazing. And she's getting loads of business through it. She's getting all the likes. The website looks slick. And she's like, what? It's not even work she's done. It's just her own house. And she was absolutely spiraling in this panic of, how could she do this? I'm so pissed off. She was fuming. And but the truth is, she was probably more annoyed that she missed the moment. She didn't take the opportunity. She didn't update her website. She didn't have the social media fancy page. It was actually her that was the problem. And how many times can you find comparison to other people's success a killer for you? The nice home, when you go to your mate's new house, you're like, lovely. The new kitchen, the new car, the lesser workload, the nice holidays, the social media page, the more likes someone gets or the attention or recognition you feel they get. Jealousy and envy is such a downward spiral. You start to see the lack in your life and you start to feel that your life isn't as good or it could be better. I should have done this. I should have said yes to that. I should have texted that person back more and be included on that brunch date I wasn't invited on. I could have done more on my business page to generate work. I should procrastinate less. But life isn't fair. It's not. And comparing your looks, your success, your family, your possessions, whatever, with others is just pointless. Let them. Let them be a success. Have seemingly better looks, stuff, time. All comparison will do is damage your confidence and self-belief. And when someone else's wins become your losses and you find yourself jealous then, it actually matters, shows that it matters to you, that when you're feeling that response, there's something actually bigger going on because it matters to you, it's hit a nerve, and you know that maybe you could have done more. So instead of feeling shit about that, just do something about it. Change how you show up. The thing with comparison and lack is this. There are two things it can make you do. You can either let it torture you, or you can let it teach you. Let them teach you. Let me learn. From watching, you can learn how to work better, how to structure your day, manage your time, try get more business. Take the power of the lesson and let it teach you. Show you what you feel you're lacking. Show you what you can do to make changes for you. And if you can't learn from it, then let them be. If you just compare yourself to someone just to make yourself feel bad about yourself, what's the point? Just let them. The second example she focuses quite a lot on relationships and the let them theory. And this is actually probably one of the biggest areas where we look to control, because, people and our friendships and relationships are often quite big triggers for us. So she talks about friendships. And actually friendships are an interesting one, because in childhood, your friendships your time scales meet. You've got the same school holidays, you've got the same schedules, and you kind of got your gang that you hang out with. But then when you reach adulthood, friendships hit a different level, because everyone's got a different schedule. People start having kids, everyone's on different timelines, and it doesn't quite click like it did. And there's actually 3 main factors at play she talks about in the book, which I thought was brilliant. And that's proximity, timing, and energy. The proximity you are in are probably the people you're going to be with the most, and the timing of where you're both at in your life, and then the energy that you're giving. And I've got a great example of this with my friendship with Jenny, my friend Jenny. There was a time when we were really close, we were hanging out every day. I was starting out as a freelancer, Jenny had her young baby, and we spent a lot of time together because we had the time, we had the proximity, the timing, and we were on the same energy level. We were both going through some quite difficult things at the time, and we just really clicked and connected. But then as time went on and my work got busier and Daniel got older, things didn't click as well. The energy shifted, the timing shifted, the proximity shifted. And for quite a big season, we didn't really see that much of each other, which I know we both found sad, but we could just never make it work. And then recently, my kids are now older, and our work-life balance is different, and we've started connecting again, and it's been really nice because the energy's aligned again, and the timing aligned again, and the proximity aligned again, and it just started working. And when these things shift, it doesn't mean that the love isn't there. It doesn't mean that we'd lost love for each other, we were enemies anymore. It just means life's moved in a way that timing is off and the energy is different. But we can really let this stuff bother us. Let them be busy. Let them have stuff on or be dealing with situations where they just don't have the energy for you. Let them not make you the priority. Let them cancel their plans. Let them have space. But let me not take it personally or to heart. Let me trust when the energy feels off. Let me make an effort. Let me be understanding. Let me make the plans. If you want to see them, message them. Or let me ask myself, have I shifted? And have actually we just grown apart? Because that happens too. It's your responsibility to understand this and be more flexible and proactive. It's not their responsibility to do it for you. It's your responsibility. And the beauty of this is, I loved it when she said this. Do you know, because of this, the proximity, timing, and energy, it means there are still friendships to be made and old friendships to reignite and new favorite people to meet. You might not even have, still got new favorite people that you've got to meet in life. And let me make the effort. Let me put myself out there. It's just something you create. Friendships are something you create. And then the next one, life partners, long-term relationships, marriage. Oof. It's not an easy ride, is it? There's ups and there's downs. And the let them theory can really help here. If you feel you're not happy with how your partner is behaving, or they're not doing something you want them to, we've all been there. You find yourself wanting to change them. As people, not actually replacing them, just you kind of want them to change some things in their life. And actually, this is a massive one where control can really muscle in. We all get the tiny little digs, the nagging, the passive-aggressive comments. You need for them to change, starts to take over. The issue here, though, is your need to control then just triggers their need to feel in control of themselves, and you're just faced with resistance. When you try to pressure people to change, you're not motivating them, you're just pushing them into their need to feel in control, and they push back. And it creates a resistance, and the resistance to the very change you want to see happen. It can really drive a wedge between you. You're at a standoff. You put your view across, your values, your niggles, your hurt, your sacrifice, all from your frustrations and lack. So you're just looking to control it. I found this with my husband, James. I'll put myself out here and said this was me and James. In the early stage of our relationship especially, I wanted him to change. He had to share my beliefs. He had to understand my point of view. I'm not even saying I wanted to. He had to. And he had to have it as his own. And I'm telling you now, we had years of problems because of this. I was bullish. I was manipulative. And actually, this is a time in our relationship that I now deeply regret. Because all I was showing him was he wasn't enough. That's all I was showing him. That wasn't going to inspire him to change. It was just making him resist even more. And we came to loggerheads a lot in those early years until one day the switch flipped. I just let him be him. Love means meeting someone where they are at. Let them be. And I know this is hard sometimes because sometimes this might not work out. But let them fail. Let them be on their own timeline. Let them be messy. Let them live their life. And instead, inspire. Let me model the behaviour I want to see. Let me be an influence and not the judge and jury. Let me be me and love what I love, and let them be them and love what they love. Let our lives align in other ways. Let me not force them to do the thing I want to do. Letting them be takes the tension away. And I'm not saying that sometimes change doesn't need to happen, because sometimes it does, but approaching it from a place of anger or fear will just translate it as a form of control and manipulation, and they are not a project to fix. Do I love them exactly as they are, or do I love who they were and who I want them to be? These are two very different things. It takes time for tension to transform. Give people space to change. People want to feel good, and your constant berating won't achieve that. Loving someone as they are is massive because it helps build trust and it strengthens your connection. It leaves a space for conversation and ways to figure out differences. Let them have their opinion. Let me see a way, and let us come together and have a conversation without trying to change each other or dominate. Let us figure it out as a couple, because this makes space for both opinions to be true. It helps you be more respectful, more flexible, and more open. I was talking about this with Jenny, and she reminded me of this picture that she shared when she talked about people pleasing. And for the benefit of those listening online, it's got I don't know, we'll have to put it on the thing, I think. I'm not going to explain that one. But basically, this is showing how when you overstretch yourself in your overbearing help, or your over need for them to change, or you wanting to fix them or rescue them, or all you're doing is putting all your time and energy into that, and then all they're doing is feeling smaller and further away. But if you can figure how to meet in the middle, respectful of each other, then there's more possibility of that of being a healthy relationship that you can work with. I think it's a beautiful illustration, that. Can I go back to that? Yeah. But what about if someone's really struggling? What if you know someone in your life that's generally really struggling with something that you really want to jump in and help them? That's really tricky too. And I mean, trust me, I know, I've been there. But it's the same. It's let them. But controlling that, or trying to control the outcome, it won't help. You've got to let them. If you become someone's fixer or always look to rescue, sadly, you're just enabling them to stay where they are. You're not letting people get to the place where they can find change for themselves. This is really tricky. This is a really hard one. Sometimes, the kindest thing you can do is to let them. Let them feel their pain. Let them know their demons. face their anxiety. We have to let them walk through the valley of the shadow of death. It's frightening to watch. Hard to walk aside sometimes. But trying to step in and stop the process of what they need isn't going to help them. Let people face the real world consequences of choices they make and hopefully learn from them. Do you know, I'll forever be grateful for those who walked alongside me in my dark times. They didn't tell me to leave or tell me what to do. They showed me how to be strong and showed me a way through. It was in these times that I actually truly found myself. What you can control is you. What you think, do, and say in response. And you can walk beside people like this, and you can be a support in other ways. Let me validate your feelings. Let me separate my emotions. Let me comfort. Support through assurance. Support them in discovering their strengths. Let me show you the way through. But even then, you get to choose who and how to love. You get to choose who to give your time and energy to. You get to choose how to be treated. Sometimes you need to let them reveal who they are, and then let me make the hard choice. Let me let go. Let me leave. It's not easy. This stuff isn't easy. That's why we carry it so heavily. That's why we carry stress so heavily. Because when it bothers you, it's because it matters. This stuff matters. We care, we hurt, we want more, and that's okay. It's okay to want more from others and from situations you're in, but you can't control what they do. You can control what you do, you think, and you say. So, we're going to take a few minutes again, because I just want to let that hang in the air and make space for some reflection with that. We've got some more questions if you want to use them. Oh, there we go. So what situations or people am I currently trying to control or fix? Be as open or not as you want. Like, I get this is personal. What do you fear will happen if you just let them? When someone disappoints you, how can you respond with acceptance instead of resistance? And what can I do with the time and energy I reclaim by letting go and letting me? Right, we'll have 10 minutes, I think we've got. We're all right. Right, we're just going to finish the morning now with a few final words and one more clip.
People will have negative opinions about you and every single thing you do. Let them. Let them judge. Let them react. Let them doubt you. Let them question the decisions you're making. Let them be wrong about you. Let them roll their eyes when you start posting videos online. Instead of wasting your time worrying about them, start living your life in a way that makes you proud of yourself. Let me do what I want to do with my one wild and precious life.
I love that. Let me live my life in a way that I'm proud of myself. It's really obvious when you say this out loud, but the greatest relationship you will ever have is the one with yourself. And we've gone through how to let them and let me in my response to others, but how are you showing up for yourself? Do you respect your own boundaries? Are you saying, let me, but not actually carrying that through? Do you show yourself love, compassion, and forgiveness? Are you allowing yourself to pursue the things you love and to take time to rest and surrender? And I don't want to get stuck in this cliche of love yourself, because this is actually just reality. You are with yourself 24/7 for the rest of your life. You have choice with all of this. You have you. And if you're spending your time and energy investing it into everyone else's stuff and everything that's going on around you and not your own dreams, then don't be surprised when you feel pissed off, exhausted, or feeling rubbish and in lack. Recognize the love, care, and respect you need to give to yourself. Know when change is needed for you. Know when to say no or yes. Having that level of self-confidence and belief will show others how to treat and respect you. What you put out, you will take in. Why would you ever entrust something as precious as your confidence, your peace of mind, your happiness, and your dreams to the whims and moods of the people around you? That's big when you actually read that. Let me prioritize my own happiness. Let me pursue my dreams with passion. Let me set boundaries that protect my peace. Let me choose relationships that uplift and inspire me. Let me love myself enough to walk away when it no longer works. And let me live my one wild and precious life. Right. I'm going to leave it there for this morning. There's still room for discussion. We've got half an hour before we'll start packing up at 12. Thank you for being here this morning and in participating in the discussions, everything. It's really encouraging for us when you guys are here and you're supporting. And we shall see you next week, where Danny will be leading the morning. Enjoy your week, guys.